All right, so get this. What if AI could understand images just like we do? And I don't just mean identifying like a cat in a photo, but really grasping the meaning. Like imagine showing an AI a complex graph and it just gets it? That's the exciting world of multimodal AI, and let me tell you, it's completely changing the game. And guess what? Today we're diving deep into a total game changer in this space. Mistral AI's Pixtral 12B. We've got their official announcement blog post right here, so let's unpack this thing.
The really cool thing about Pixtral 12B is that it's not just some, shiny new AI toy for like the tech giants to play with. It's a huge step towards putting this cutting-edge tech into everyone's hands.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How so?
Because get this,
Yeah.
it's open source.
Hold on, open source. For the non-techies among us, myself included sometimes, what does that actually mean?
Okay, so remember how you've always wished there was an app to like analyze those super dense market reports you get every month, the ones that are full of jargon?
Oh, tell me about it.
So imagine an app that could just pull out the key insights without you having to wade through all of it.
Okay, yeah.
Well, with Pixtral 12B being open source, and
Mm.
it's licensed under Apache 2.0, anyone can build that. You could see a wave of like customized AI solutions popping up, tailored to specific needs just like that. That's the power of open source.
Okay, now that's what I call real-world impact. But enough talk. Show me the goods. What can this Pixtral 12B actually do?
Well, Mistral's announcement is packed with examples. Remember that complex graph of European GDPs we were looking at? The one that Eve and I had to squint at?
Oh, yeah.
Pixtral 12B can analyze that, like with incredible accuracy, pulling out insights and trends super fast. Think how valuable that could be. Not just for, impressing your colleagues, but for making better decisions quicker.
Okay, I'm already seeing the potential here. But can it do more than just charts and graphs?
Oh, much more. Remember those two tables we saw? The ones comparing different AI models and their scores?
Yeah.
Pixel 12B can take those separate tables, understand the information in each one, and then combine them into one super table.
Wow. Okay.
It's like having a superpowered research assistant by your side, organizing and synthesizing all the information for you.
No, that would have saved me a ton of time on my last project. It's almost like this AI is thinking like a human researcher.
Yeah,
Just a lot faster.
exactly. And get this, Mistral's blog post even shows Pixtral 12B generating computer code from an image. They use a really fun example. A simple ice cream flavor website.
Okay, you had me at ice cream. How does that even work? So it looks at a picture of a website and then bam, out pops the code. That sounds like, I don't know, something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It might seem like magic, but it's really some seriously impressive engineering. Imagine Pistol 12B as having like an art critic's eye, right?
Yes.
It looks at the website image and it can just instantly break it down just like a critic would analyze a painting. Then it takes all those little elements, understands their purpose, and translates all that visual information into lines of code. It's a perfect example of how this whole multimodal approach is really blurring the lines between how our brains work and how AI processes information.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does it actually stack up against the big dogs in the AI world? We've all heard of those massive models from Google, Meta, those guys. Does Pixtral even stand a chance?
That's where things get really interesting. Mistral AI wanted to make sure they were comparing apples to apples. So they used the same testing methods. They even used the same prompts that were used to evaluate other models,
Okay.
both open source and those closed ones, the ones held by those big companies we talked about.
Right.
And the results, well, let's just say they're turning heads.
All right. All right. Give me the good stuff. How'd it do?
Pixtral 12B consistently outperforms a lot of other open source models that are its size. And get this, in some of these tests, it even beats out the bigger models, the closed models, on these multimodal benchmarks. Remember we were talking about how it's not just about acing one thing, like understanding text or images.
Right.
Pixtral 12B manages to keep its language skills sharp too. It's a true all-rounder, I have to say.
So it's like the overachiever of AI models, top of the class in every subject. But I'm curious, how does it actually work? What's going on under the hood to make this AI so incredibly capable?
Well, at its core, Pixtral 12B has two main parts. The first part is called the vision encoder. Think of it as the part of its brain that decodes the images.
Okay.
What's really amazing is that it can handle pictures of all different sizes without slowing down or getting confused, no matter how much information is thrown at it. It's like, imagine if you had a giant Lego structure and you could instantly separate it into all the individual bricks.
Right.
Much easier to work with.
Okay. So it breaks the images down, but then what? How does it take those image Legos and then understand what they actually mean, especially in relation to text?
That's where the second part comes in. the multimodal transformer decoder. This is where it all comes together. This part takes those processed image pieces from the vision encoder, and it uses them to understand the context of the image, connecting it to any text that's there. It's kind of like putting those Legos back together in a way that makes sense, following a set of instructions. And in this case, the instructions are the text.
So it's not just seeing, it's actually understanding. This AI is starting to sound more and more like us every minute. This is all incredibly impressive, but let's get real for a second. Is this just for the tech geniuses out there? Can regular people like myself actually get their hands on this and try it out?
And that's the real beauty of this whole thing. You absolutely do not need to be some kind of coding whiz to experience Pixtral 12B. Mistral AI has made it super accessible. If you're curious, you want to see what it can do, you can try out LeChat. It's their conversational interface, basically a user-friendly way to, chat with the AI, upload an image, and see it work its magic.
Let's chat, huh? I do love a good chat, especially when it involves AI. But what if I want to take it a step further, really start experimenting, maybe even building something with it?
Well, for those who like to get their hands a little dirtier, there's Le Platform. This gives you access to Pixtral 12B through what are called API calls. Now, don't worry if that sounds like a foreign language.
Yeah.
It's essentially a way for more, tech-savvy folks to directly plug Pixtral 12B into their own programs, apps, or workflows.
So you're telling me I could potentially have this, AI powerhouse working behind the scenes of my next project. Okay, that's a game changer. But we can't forget about the coding wizards out there, the ones who really want to get down into the nuts and bolts, right?
Absolutely not. Mistral AI has those folks covered too. They've released a bunch of resources and tools, things like Mistral Inference and something called the VLLM library. These tools allow developers to actually run Pixtral 12B locally on their own computers, giving them complete control.
Wow, this is like opening up a whole new world of possibilities. A powerful, open source, multimodal AI that anyone can use. This feels like a massive shift in how we interact with technology and even how we think about what's possible.
It really does. This push towards making advanced AI more accessible, it has the potential to change things in a big way. We're talking about leveling the playing field, giving individuals and smaller organizations access to tools that were once only available to,
the big guys. And
execs.
it's like suddenly everyone has the potential to be an AI innovator.
Right.
This is definitely something I'm going to be keeping my eye on. What a time to be alive,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
But before we get too carried away with the possibilities here, let's bring it back down to earth for a second.
Yeah.
We've thrown around a lot of information about Pixtral 12B, what it can do, why it matters, but what does this all really mean for the average person? It's almost like, we've stepped into the future and AI isn't this mysterious thing locked away in some, tech company's basement anymore.
Yeah, it's about time. Right. And that's the exciting part here, this whole shift towards open source AI. It's uh, the Wild West of innovation is about to begin.
We touched on it earlier, but I think it's worth diving a little deeper. Why is this open source thing such a big deal, especially for those of us who aren't, coding all day long?
Well, imagine a world where the best, most powerful AI tools, they're not hidden behind closed doors, They're out in the open for anyone to use, to study, to improve.
So instead of a handful of companies controlling the future of AI, it becomes much more, democratized.
Exactly. And that opens up so many possibilities. Imagine, say, a student, right, using Pixtral 12B to create an app that can help analyze medical images, maybe leads to faster diagnoses.
Or a musician using it to create entirely new instruments and sounds.
Exactly. The potential applications are, well, pretty much limitless. And because it's open source, the pace of innovation could be, well, really incredible. We're talking about a future where AI is no longer this niche technology, but it's a tool that anyone can use.
It's almost a little overwhelming to think about, to be honest,
Yeah.
but in a good way.
Yeah.
We're standing at the edge of something huge, and I, for one, can't wait to see where it goes from here.
And that's what makes this whole thing so exciting. Today, we've given you a glimpse into this world of Pixtral 12B, what it is, what it can do, and why it matters. But the real question is, what will you do with this knowledge?
That's the perfect place to leave it. Go forth, dear listeners, and explore. And hey, if you create the next big thing with Pixtral 12B, be sure to let us know. We might have to have you on the show.
Now, wouldn't that be something?
Hmm.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world of AI.
And remember, the future is closer than you think.